happy October, happy Black British History Month, and happy official Spoopy season. It is now October, so that means that spooky season, spooky content has officially begun. I know I've put in a few like soft openings to spooky season, but now we're really in it and time to get spooky. So this is my October TBR, and if you haven't seen Heroine's Corner's video about Black Britathon, I will link that below, and I think you should watch it and read at least one book or poetry collection from a Black British author. So this is Black History Month in the UK. So I have made this TBR of mostly Black British authors with a few exceptions. So it is both Black British and spooky horror, and I will go through these in alphabetical order by title. And first I have Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iamide, and this has been hyped a lot. I've seen a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on this, and I know that Jess Owens has a dedicated video on this, and so does Dee from Heroine's Corner, and I highly suggest following both of them. So I haven't watched those videos because I want to come into this fresh. I'm very intrigued, and after I'm done, I'm then going to watch those videos, and when I have my own thoughts and compare and contrast. And so this is the Illumicrate edition of Ace of Spades, and it came with a very nice wooden bookmark. So I've already put this in here. It's all ready to go. I am pretty pumped for this. It's billed as like Gossip Girl meets Get Out, so I am intrigued. Welcome to Nevius Private Academy, where money paves the hallways and the students are never less than perfect, until now, because anonymous texter Aces is bringing two students' dark secrets to light. Talented musician Devin buries himself in rehearsals, but he can't escape the spotlight when his private photos go public. Head girl Chiamaka isn't afraid to get what she wants, but soon everyone will know the price she has paid for her power. Someone is out to get them both, someone who holds all the aces, and they're planning much more than a high school game. So I have seen other like discussions of this book mention that these two characters, Devin and Chiamaka, are the only Black students at this school, and so I know that that is going to play a big part in this story. And Farida Abike Iamide is a Black British author, so she counts for Black Britathon. Next, quite a turn, it is Charles Bukowski on Cats by Charles Bukowski, and this is an essay collection of like collected essays from Charles Bukowski writing about cats, and this is for my book club. This year we're reading books about cats, so this is our pick for this month, and it seems pretty short. I have it on Kindle, and we I think all have very complicated thoughts about Charles Bukowski, and so this is the first book I'm actually going to read by him. I like know a bit about him, I know a bit about his writing, but I've never fully read a book by him. So this will be an interesting experience. I am apprehensive, intrigued. I'm sure I'll have many thoughts by the end of the month, and then I'll tell you and we'll commiserate. Then I want to read Ladies of the Secret Circus by Constance Sayers, and this is a NetGalley e-arc that is coming out early November, so I need to read and review it this month to have my review out by the release date. Paris, 1925. To enter the Secret Circus is to enter a world of wonder, a world where women tame magnificent beasts, carousels take you back in time, and trapeze artists float across the sky. But each daring feat has a cost. Bound to her family's strange and magical circus, it's the only world Cecile Cabot knows, until she meets a charismatic young painter and embarks on a passionate love affair that could cost her everything. Virginia, 2005. Lara Barnes is on top of the world until her fiancé disappears on their wedding day. Desperate, her search for answers unexpectedly leads to her great-grandmother's journals and sweeps her into a story of a dark circus and a generational curse that has been claiming payment from the women and their family for generations. So it sounds like a magical fantasy historical fiction, and I do like that vibe. It does sort of remind me of The Night Circus, and so I'm not sure if that's a comparison that people are supposed to draw from this synopsis or not. And it just jumped out at me. It looks really good, and so I have really high hopes for this. Then I want to read Queenie by Candace Carty Williams, and I have been wanting to read this book since it came out, and now it is finally time. Candace Carty Williams was also a guest on the podcast Sentimental Garbage, hosted by Caroline O'Donoghue, who is one of my favorite authors, and anyone who touches sentimental garbage in any way is a must read for me. So I like double want to read this book. And Candace Carty Williams is a Black British author, so she also counts for Black Britathon. Queenie Jenkins is a 25-year-old Jamaican woman living in London, straddling two cultures and slotting neatly into neither. She works at a national newspaper where she's constantly forced to compare herself to white middle-class peers. After a messy breakup from her long-term white boyfriend, Queenie seeks comfort in all the wrong places, including several hazardous men who do a good job of occupying brain space and a bad job of affirming self-worth. As Queenie careens from one questionable decision to another, she finds herself wondering, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who do you want to be? All the questions today's women must face in a world trying to answer them for her. So this sounds both like fun and thoughtful and thought-provoking and also relatable. I am really excited to get to this. It's been sitting on my Kindle for as long as it's been out, pretty much. So I'm pretty excited. Then I want to read Redemptor by Jordan E. Fuego, and I want to take a moment to appreciate this beautiful cover. Okay, now that we've appreciated, we can talk about it. So I read the first book in this duology, Ray Bear, last November, and I read it while the US presidential election was happening, with the sort of like long counts and possible recounts and drama around that. So it was very stressful, and I needed some like fantasy escapist counter programming, and Ray Bear delivered. So I really enjoyed it, and so I am pretty pumped to get to this sequel. I had it pre-ordered. It was like a click and collect. I immediately had it, and I like the day it came in stock, I like went to my local Waterstones. Was like, where is it? Give it to me. I need it. And so because I read the first book in such a stressful time, I don't remember a whole lot of what actually happened. So I think I can get into the sequel and have it jog my memory and like remind me of things. So I don't think that's going to be a huge deal. I enjoyed the first one so much that I will definitely reread these in the future. They're really great, and they're marketed as YA, but I think they're relatable to a wider audience and enjoyable to a wider audience. So for the first time, an Empress Redemptor sits on Aritsar's throne. To appease the sinister spirits of the dead, Tarisai must now anoint a council of her own, coming into her full power as a Ray-bearer. She must then descend into the underworld, a sacrifice to end all future atrocities. Tarisai is determined to survive, or at least that's what she tells her increasingly distant circle of friends. Months into her shaky reign as Empress, child spirits haunt her, demanding that she pay for past sins of the Empire. With the lives of her loved ones on the line, assassin attempts from unknown quarters, and a handsome new stranger she can't quite trust, Tarisai fears the pressure may consume her. But in this final to the Ray-bearer duology, Tarisai must learn whether to die for justice or to live for it. So it sounds suitably dramatic after the dramatic first book, so I'm expecting more drama, more twists and turns, more action scenes, and more great dialogue. So not a British author, but I've been wanting to read Ring Shout since it came out. Ring Shout is by P.J. Lee Clark, and I thought October would be perfect timing since it is a horror book. And P.J. Lee Clark is a Black American author, not a Black British author, so he doesn't count for Black Britathon. And Redemptor is also by a Black American author, I think, so also doesn't count for Black Britathon. And this is the only audiobook on my list because I haven't really been in an audiobook mood recently, but this one's pretty short and I've been wanting to read it for quite a while since it came out last year. So I think I will enjoy the audiobook and I'll be in the mood for this particular audiobook, even though I'm not in the mood for maybe other audiobooks. A dark fantasy historical novella that gives a supernatural twist to the Ku Klux Klan's reign of terror. D.W. Griffith is a sorcerer, and The Birth of a Nation is a spell that drew upon the darkest thoughts and wishes from the heart of America. Now rising in power and prominence, the Klan has a plot to unleash hell on earth. Luckily, Mercy Boudreaux has a magic sword and a head full of tails. When she's not running bootleg whiskey through Prohibition, Georgia, she's fighting monsters she calls Ku Kluxes. She's damn good at it too. But to confront this ongoing evil, she must journey between worlds to face nightmares made flesh and her own demons. Together with a foul-mouthed sharpshooter and a Harlem hellfighter, Marcy sets out to save the world from the hate that would consume it. So I've seen a few people I follow on YouTube read this and talk about how much they love it and how clever it is and how thoughtful and thought-provoking it is and how well written it is. And this will be my first P. Djeli Clark book. I've been wanting to read his other books for a while as well because they feature Jinn, and Jinn are something that I really appreciate and love seeing in stories, and I want and need more of it. So definitely an author I will read more of in the future, and I am pumped for this book. Then I want to read The Girl with the Loudy Voice by Abi Dare, and Dare is a Nigerian author, but she lives in Essex, so she's not quite Black British, but I think she still counts because she is Black and living in Britain, so she counts for Black Britathon, in my opinion. And I've been wanting to read this book for so long. This is a real theme for this TBR, and I think all TBRs, because my appetite for wanting to read and the pace at which I can actually read are two different rates of growth. I feel like the first one is exponential and the second one is linear, but I'm doing the best I can trying to get through all the books that I want to read. So this one is up next. And this is the story of a teenage girl growing up in a rural Nigerian village who longs to get an education so that she can find her loudy voice and speak up for herself. The Girl with the Loudy Voice is simultaneously a heartbreaking and triumphant tale about the power of fighting for your dreams. Despite the seemingly insurmountable obstacles in her path, Aduni never loses sight of her goals of escaping the life of poverty she was born into so that she can build a future she chooses for herself and help other girls like her do the same. So, I mean, the blurb sounds great. I've been hearing a lot of buzz around this book and it's all positive. So I'm excited for this too. I'm excited for all of these books. Another theme. I'm just so excited for all books all the time. And my last book on this October TBR is White is for Witching by Helen Oyemi. And my friend Chloe, whose channel I have linked in my description box and you should go follow her, read this book last year and very kindly sent me her copy so that I can read it too and we can discuss it. And I wanted to read this in October because it is a horror novel and October is peak spoopy season. So, and Helen Oyemi is also a Black British author, and so she counts for Black Britathon. I read Helen Oyemi's other book, Gingerbread, and also really enjoyed it. It was on my quarter of a century makes a girl think video about books I want to reread, and I loved the writing style. I was a little confused about the plot, but I think upon rereading, I will get over my confusion and appreciate the writing style even more. So I've been wanting to read more from Helen Oyemi since then, and now I've got my chance. I'm going to read White is for Witching. In a vast, mysterious house on the cliffs near Dover, the Silver family is reeling from the hole punched into its heart. Lily is gone, and her twins Miranda and Elliot and her husband, the gentle Luke, mourn her absence with unspoken intensity. All is not well with the house either, which creaks and grumbles and malignly confuses visitors in its mazy rooms, forcing winter apples in the garden when the branches should be bare. Generations of women inhabit its walls, and Miranda, with her new appetite for chalk and her keen sense for spirits, is more attuned to them than she is to her brother and father. She is leaving them slowly, slipping away from them, and one dark night she vanishes entirely. The survivors are left to tell her story. Mary, I conjure you. This is a spine-tingling tale that has Gothic roots, but an utterly modern sensibility. Told by a quartet of crystalline voices, it is electrifying in its expression of myth and memory, loss and magic, fear and love. So I've seen this book recommended by Jean Menzies from Bookish Thoughts quite a bit, and she recently did another like spooky season witch books video where she mentioned this again, and so she is pretty much the only person I've seen talk about this author and this book. So I'm hoping that more people come to, you know, read Helen Oyemi and appreciate her writing style, because it is very beautiful. So we have reached the end. This is it. This is my October TBR. There are 8 books on this list. 4 of them are print books, 3 of them are ebooks, and 1 is an audiobook. And I am really excited for October. And I will, of course, update you at the end of the month, and you can subscribe for more bookish content. I will see you in my next video. Bye!